Chapter 23, Brink of War.
War is upon us, my fellow chosen, Rudra's voice echoed through the great hall of Medulla, calm yet resolute, like a queen used to the weight of kingdoms. The Dark Lord Ragnar approaches. He will be upon Medulla soon, and we must defend it and its people.
The room was dead silent. Only the flickering torches dared to speak, crackling against stone walls.
So, you have a plan. Caleb stepped forward, hands clenched into fists.
Yes, Rudra nodded. Our best chance of defeating them is from within the castle. Their numbers will be great, but we have power they cannot fathom. She turned toward Will and Yunhei. You two will be stationed atop the walls. The fairies and archers will provide long-range support. Anything that flies or tries to breach from above, you bring it down.
Will cracked his knuckles with a grin. Finally, just what I needed.
Yunhai remained still, eyes glowing faintly. They'll feel the wrath of the wind, she whispered.
Rudra's gaze then shifted to the others. Izashi, Caleb, Terrence, Francis, you will hold the front gate. You are our strongest defense. Let no enemy through.
Francis smirked. I've been meaning to test this new sword anyway.
Izashi glanced toward Olga and his orcish battalion forming outside the castle walls. They won't pass. Not while I'm breathing.
Audra will stand by behind the gate to support you, reinforcing the lines if the enemies break through. I will remain in the rear, focusing on healing and buffing all of you through Behemoth's magic. Trust your units. Trust each other.
As Will opened his mouth to reply, a booming horn split the air like a thunderclap. A sound older than time itself. A sound that had not echoed in Medulla for centuries.
Finally, Cerberus growled, baring his fangs with excitement. They have arrived.
Who? Caleb asked, turning sharply toward him.
Your armies, Lancelot answered, his voice calm, noble, and proud.
The heroes turned to the gates of Medulla as they began to creak open, and one by one, forces arrived, each battalion representing the soul of its chosen. Frost giants and regal Drake knights marched behind Caleb, the temperature dropping with every step they took. High elves and golden-winged angels soared in behind Will, ethereal light pouring from their blades. Savage beastmen, clawed, fierce, and loyal, howled as they followed Terrence, still marked by the black and red flames of his transformation. Tree-folk knights lumbered in with massive shields, followed by elegant, deadly, human-sized fairies fluttering beside Yunhai. Francis's forces, fiend slayers, shadow knights, and cursed swordsmen of the old world, emerged silently, a reflection of the darkness Gabriel had once mastered. And behind them all, Izashi, leading his red orcs and green high orcs, with Olga at his side, her massive axe resting on her shoulder. From the battlements to the great stone courtyards, the city of Medulla stirred. The people gathered, watching from balconies and towers, hope glimmering in their eyes.
Prepare yourselves, Rudra said, voice like steel. For tomorrow, we fight not just for this realm, but for all realms.
And from the far horizon, black clouds began to gather. Not storm clouds, but war banners. The shadow of Ragnar had arrived.
So, these are our armies, huh? Caleb said, eyeing the gathered forces with a mix of awe and disbelief.
Yes, my liege, a voice responded with firm conviction. A towering figure stepped forward, his sapphire blue armor gleaming like frozen lightning under the Medullan sun. I am Mulg, Drake Knight of the Seventh Flame. I serve as your general." He knelt before Caleb, the tip of his massive blade thudding into the earth.
Another voice, rough and guttural, echoed from the beastman ranks. "And I am Psychor," growled a hulking wolfman wielding a jagged, fanged greatsword. His golden eyes glowed with primal fury. "I serve you as General Chieftain Terence."
A knight in glimmering silver and gold armor stepped forward next, his cloak fluttering in the wind. "I am Elaru, Arch-Knight of the Eternal Sky," he said with a graceful bow. "I serve as your general, Lord Will."
Then came a thud like a treefall as a treefolk knight, his bark-etched armor lined with vines of glowing mena, stepped forth and dropped to one knee before Yunhei. "I am Oak," he rumbled in a voice like shifting soil, "guardian of the verdant court. I serve you, Lady Yunhai."
And finally, emerging from a shadowy formation of agile assassins and quick-blade warriors, a woman with midnight hair and eyes like twin moons strode forward. Her armor was blackened steel, edged in crimson. "I am Lilith," she said with cold poise, "commander of the Obsidian Order. I serve you, Lord Francis."
The 5 heroes exchanged glances, the weight of command now very real on their shoulders.
"Well," Will said, rubbing the back of his neck with a half-smirk, "I guess this war just got a little more interesting."
"And a lot more dangerous," Izashi added, eyes narrowing toward the horizon where the winds began to shift, where Ragnar's dark tide crept ever closer.
And so the night turned to day, a heavy silence briefly blanketing Majula before the storm. Soldiers, mages, archers, and beastfolk moved like clockwork, guided by the orders of their chosen leaders. Everyone moved with purpose, armor clinking, weapons gleaming, hearts pounding like drums of war. The scent of oil, steel, and anticipation filled the air. Each chosen stood tall, armored to the brim, no longer wanderers, but commanders, kings, queens, and legends in the making.
"Caleb!" Lancelot's voice rang out above the preparation din. "Come, I have something for you."
Caleb, adjusting the gauntlet on his left hand, turned to meet his knightly guardian. "What's up?" he asked, walking over.
Lancelot, his silver cape whipping in the wind, reached behind him and unsheathed a masterpiece. The longsword shimmered with a radiant blue glow, its blade made of crystallized frost so pure it seemed to hum. The hilt was sculpted like the head of a frost dragon, its mouth open in a silent roar.
Caleb's eyes widened. "What is this?"
"Ymir's breath," Lancelot replied, voice full of reverence. "Forged in the highest peak of the glacial expanse. It belongs to you now, my king."
Caleb gripped the sword. The cold didn't sting. It welcomed him. His breath frosted in the air, and he gave a slow nod. "Let's give him hell."
Lancelot grinned, slamming his gauntleted fist to his chest. "Let's send them back to the abyss."
Terence, standing at the gate with Zikor, cracked his knuckles and tilted his head. "Let's do this," he said, his voice low, like thunder just before the storm breaks.
Then, chanting, low, guttural, demonic, it rolled in like a wave of darkness over the distant hills.
Rudra's eyes went wide. "He's here," she muttered, clutching the hourglass around her neck.
And in that moment, the sky darkened. The wind howled. The earth itself groaned as Ragnar's legions emerged from the shadowed horizon. An endless swarm of fiends, monsters, and horrors, yet unnamed. The battle for Majula had begun. The fate of the world now rested in the hands of 7. And not a single one of them would go quietly.